All right, everyone, thanks for being here this morning. For today's press conference, the Blue Raiders will host tomorrow night Kennesaw State in a midweek game that'll be on CBS Sports Network. Kickoff will be at 7 o'clock. So to talk about tomorrow night's game and the quick turnaround, I'd like to get started with the head coach, Derek Mason.
Thank you. Good morning. We come off a tough game with La Tech and to head into a quick turnaround with Kennesaw State. And Kennesaw State is a football team much like ourselves and fighting for our first conference win. Coach Bohannon has done a terrific job as I watch his team play. I mean, they're physical and they play hard. It's going to be a challenge in a matchup as they play a different style of offense, versus our Blue Raiders. Right now, coming off our past game, we lost Alex Williams for the season to lower leg injury. And so for us, we have to adapt and adjust up front defensively. Offensively, we've continued to shift some personnel around as we get some folks back. And defensively, what we're going to look to do as well is Brian Stewart will now go to the box to call defense, for the Blue Raiders. Again, coming off a short week, it's been about preparation and performance. Obviously, our preparation has been quick. The performance piece is about going into this game and knowing that we got to play a physical ball game. Right now, defensively, we're struggling a little bit to get ourselves off the field. In 2 conference games, we've given up a total of 40-plus points. And so for us, there has to be a premium on setting edges and tackling. So this game's going to be about who can score, who can move the football, and who can play defense. And right now, that's a premium for us. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Coach, Kennesaw doesn't run the flex bone triple that maybe they were running at the peak of their FCS days, but they have a lot of that still in the offense and what they're doing now. How tough is that with the short week to prep for some of those elements, heading into this game?
Yeah, some of it we had practiced earlier, and now, we've had an opportunity to come back to it, right? I think for us, having a chance to work the elements over the last couple of days, you focus on the thing that you haven't done, right? And that's defend the triple. So it's been about assignment football. That's what it's going to have to be. And obviously what comes off of that are shot plays. So guys have to have disciplined eyes, and we got to be able to tackle, because you got to get a team like this to a third down. That's going to be the most important thing, getting them to third down.
You mentioned Coach Stewart moving up to the box to call plays. What's led to that sort of change other than just, the lack of performance on that side of the ball? What are you hoping that will spark for the defense?
I think just lack of performance. I think really, for us, and I know, because I've been in a situation where I've play call from both. I think the reality of it is, I always much preferred being up, because it allowed me to remove myself from the emotions of the game. Okay, I was able to see it faster. I was able to call it faster, like in my opinion, and let my guys put their cleats in the ground. So, I just think now, as we've looked at, where we've been, we got a sample size of, what we're doing. I know we got young guys, but, I think bringing AJ down to be able to talk to those young backers, because a lot of mistakes are happening, inside with our young backers, right? So, that, and we have enough secondary guys down there that can adjust it. To me, it's more important to be able to have the eyes, the bird's eye view, and be able to fix it up top to be able to give our guys answers.
You've had a couple different offensive players, and you make some critical mistakes that led to turnovers in games and then stay in the game afterwards to continue making plays. How do you balance sort of, desire to keep guys accountable in game with the need to keep guys on the field that you think give you the best chance to win?
Yeah, I think the accountability piece, I don't think anybody goes out there looking to make a mistake, really. And with that being said, I think if I went through almost all of them, have made a mistake at some point in time. So that means I'd have nobody on the field, right? The accountability comes with, wins, right? I think the biggest part of what we do is that we try to play the game to win. And so with that being said, I think there's enough, pressure, okay, and confidence sometimes that gets lost in those moments where, man, you got to get a guy back on the horse real fast so he can get his confidence back. And obviously, man, we saw Amari not have his best game, right? And that was unfortunate. But, really what it comes down to is that we've got to take care of the ball better. Man, we've got to do things better all the way around. But, in this first year, man, we just have to make sure that we're taking it week by week. This week, man, we've only got one opportunity to go 1-0. It's not like we're trying to go 6-0. Okay, so really at the end of the day, man, let's play this game. Let's play for what it is. Let's bring the energy, the accountability, and the performance to this game, and let's see what it yields us.
On a 5-day turnaround, you got obviously, I can do some public school math here. You got 2 days less. What gets left out, or is it something when you had 12 days you were able to kind of sneak some of that preparation, whether it's, film work, whatever? What are the challenges of the 5-day prep?
Yeah, it's a fast turnaround. Obviously, when you talk about the breakdown pieces, so that was done earlier. Okay, so all that was done in the 12-day, opportunity or 12-day window. But now, really what you look at is how do you get your team back? Physically you got to get them back, but you still got to be able to practice things. And that showed up. Like for us, man, we didn't set the edges very well. Man, we got attacked on the edges all day. So, and that's really what option football is, when you take a look at it. So, heavy emphasis on the things that we needed to scratch, and what you do from there is make sure that, man, you continue to show these guys what needs to be done in the game plan through walkthroughs, okay, because you can't get all the physical because there's just not enough time. So what you have to do is make sure that they have walkthroughs scheduled, before practice, and then even at the hotel, man, we'll emphasize some things that need to be seen last minute in order for us to be able to go out and execute.
You moved a few pieces around on special teams last week. Also changed the kickoff. Took a little bit of the heavy lifting off Zeke a little bit. Did you see the results you wanted to see there?
A little bit. I think for us, we need all hands on deck, right? I think even as you're gonna take some heavy lifting off, we're still putting other pressures on other guys, man, who haven't done it before, right? So. Man, we're just trying to make sure now that it's all hands on deck. Everybody's got to step to the forefront and do their 1/11. If you're in, man, you've got one part, man, that 11 guys are responsible for. So make sure you get it done.
When you talk working against a team that can show you option and will probably show you some option, how much of a change is that? From a mindset of attack to then go back and have responsibilities against an option attack and to be able to stay at home.
Well, like one of the biggest problems, man, that sort of hindered this group a little bit and defensively, and I can say in its totality in all three phases, is assignment football. All right, I mean I've told our players. We have schemes, and everybody has schemes. Players make schemes come alive. So, the idea of doing your job is the ultimate performance enhancer. Okay, it's the ultimate performance multiplier. So, right now, the focus is, just do your job. Okay, I mean, again, it goes back to 11 guys having to play, good unit or team ball, and that's where we have to be.
One of the things that's going to happen tomorrow night, Kevin Byard comes back,
yep.
Along with the Hayes family for being in the Conference USA Hall of Fame. What does it mean to have a guy who's done it here and done it at that level, at the highest level, mean to you, to this team? And do you expect Kevin might have a few words for your guys?
Kevin is probably one of the most beloved and ultimate big game performers here at MTSU, and there's been a lot, right? So to be able to have Kevin come back and be in this space and be celebrated for what he's done, it's amazing. I mean, man, we know about his NFL career and and how that continues to grow and what's being fostered from there. But in terms of coming back and having things to say, man, Kevin's always available to come to our locker room and say anything he wants to say to this team at any point in time. I mean, that's the privilege of being a Hall of Famer.
Anything else, Coach? All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, now it's time for our student athletes. Today we have quarterback Nick Vadiato and defensive end Brandon Buckner. We'll get started with Nick.
Hey, Nick, Coach was just talking about, across the board, everybody's got to do their job a little bit better. Kind of give me your take on where you guys are as an offense right now.
Yeah, I think that as an offense, we've done some good things, but we haven't done them consistently enough to put ourselves in a position to win. And I think that as a group, we have to be better, just in a holistic aspect, whether it's up front, whether it's wide receiver play, whether it's running back play, whether it's quarterback play. I think that we have to start working together as a unit and less kind of some guys here, some guys there at times throughout a game. And, hopefully create some more consistency. And Coach is right. I think there's not one person on this team who can't do a better job throughout the week, during a game, each play, series to series. And I think you just have to focus in and do your job. And, I think we've had a good couple days of preparation. Obviously it's been a little different just because of the quick turnaround, but I think we've been locked in. I think there's been a lot of energy. Guys are flying around, and we just have to, at the end of the day, you have to go out there and do what you're supposed to do, and you have to do it at the highest level you can.
How does the 5-day week affect how you do your own personal thing every week?
You just kind of have to adapt, honestly. Everything's just sped up a little more. You might not have as much time, quarterbacks, we might not have as much time with Coach Reeder as we normally would, and that's just, that's just how how the week goes. You don't have many days to prepare, but I think we've done a really good job of just kind of adapting to what's been going on. And Coach Reeder, already when he did, him and the rest of the offensive staff had a really good plan set in place already. By the time we came in the day after Louisiana Tech, we were right to Kennesaw State, and we've just been going from there and just trying to put in the work and the practices. It's much more of you have to be so locked in on a mental aspect just because the physical is so laid back when it comes to practices that you just really have to be understanding. You have to be watching film, knowing your keys. You got to be keyed in with the call sheet and just kind of go from there.
Kennesaw's defense has some guys in the front seven that can really cause some havoc in the backfield. How do y'all handle that as an offense, this week?
Yeah, it's not, nothing. I think our goal as offense is that nothing that the defense does is going to dictate what we do. And that's whether we're playing Ole Miss, Memphis, Kennesaw State, Jackson State, Louisiana Tech. That goes for every team we play this season. That's our mindset going into a game, and that's how we have to approach every single game. We know that Kennesaw State has very good players on their defense that can make plays, that can run sideline to sideline, that could be impact players in a ball game. But at the end of the day, we have to have the mindset that if we're going out there, if we're prepared, if we're doing our job to the best of our ability and we're working as a unit, that, nothing is going to keep us from doing what we want to do and from executing our plays on a play-to-play basis within each series and then obviously within the entire game.
From my seat in the press box, it seems like y'all done a good job getting Holden Willis involved early in the games, and then maybe he disappears a little bit in the middle. Is that the defense making an adjustment? Is that something that y'all need to do as an offense to get him more involved, sort of in those middle second and third quarters? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I don't think it's a defensive thing. I think Holden Willis is one of the best players in college football, and I think he's one of our best players, whether it's on the field or being a leader off the field and setting an example. I just think that when it comes to Holden, he is such a weapon, whether it's, just getting him the ball, stretching the ball downfield or getting it to him in open space. He can make guys miss and break some tackles and yards after the catch is something that he does really well as well. And so I think just, using one of our best players and kind of making sure that it helps us, I think just, like you said, Louisiana Tech had a hot start, maybe kind of disappeared and then came back later in the game. I think that, we can just all do a better job of making sure that, our best players are getting touches and, we'll go from there. Sometimes the flow of the game can dictate certain things, but, at the end of the day, I think our guys are always going to show up, whether it's Holden or whether it's, the 30-something other guys on our offense. So I think, play in and play out, you just got to be doing your job, and I think it starts in preparation throughout the week. Holden's one of those guys who comes in and he works his tail off, and he's always locked in, whether it's mentally or physically. And so, I think that tends to show in his play.
Brandon, Coach just talked about, the need to set the edge sort of as a defensive front at the moment. What do you think that you guys have to do in that unit to do that better, going forward?
Just being disciplined, just doing the little things, because it all starts up front as a football team and as the game goes on. So it's definitely setting the edge, starts up front, being disciplined with your keys and reads, and just doing your 1/11th.
Is that more of a mental thing, or is there like a physical technique thing?
It's all mentality. You got to do it play in and play out when your body hurts, when you don't feel like it, because, like I said, the game starts and ends with us up front.
We talked a little bit about, the triple option flavor that Kennesaw State has. What do you have to really key in on as a defensive lineman in a scheme like that?
Yeah. Keys and reads, discipline, just playing your technique, just doing your job. Don't try to make plays. And just, if you have to pitch, you have to pitch. You have to dive, you have to dive. Just everybody just doing their job.
I'm sure going up through high school, you probably had to go against more option, whether it was wing tee or whatever. People run all that kind of stuff in high school. Did you deal with it a whole lot then?
Not in high school.
Really?
Not as much, because I'm from Arizona, so it was really a lot of pass-based, a lot of spread out. But this is really my first time ever going against option, so it should be pretty fun.
Talk a little bit about run fit and your job when it comes to that up front, and how you get good run fits and sometimes how that can break down.
Yeah, Kennesaw, they present a lot of things on offense, with the quarterback, and, they do various formations, but usually it's all the same. They usually get back into the same set. They keep things very simple, but like I said, everybody just has to do their 1/11, do their job, hone in on their keys and reads, and just play fast and just rally to the football.
You guys seem like made really good strides ahead in the Memphis game, and then you got back into Louisiana Tech. Did they do anything that kind of was a bit confusing at all with how some of the motions they ran and brought receivers back into the backfield, things like that?
No, nothing really confusing. Everything that affected us that game was on us, like miscommunication, not getting in line. Those things that we can clean up on and just help us execute better as a defense.
One thing we were asking Nick about is, and Coach as well, about the 5-day turnaround, and from the physical standpoint of doing it in 5 days, and the mental standpoint of being ready in 5 days when you're used to, you guys are creatures of habit like everybody else is. And what are the challenges, and what do you feel like the opportunities are for you?
Like Nick said, you don't really have enough time. It's a quick turnaround. So these 5 days went by fast, but I feel like you just got to step into that mindset and just tell your body just to keep going, because, when Kennesaw State gets here, they're going to be full speed. So we just got to step up to the challenge and just accept it and just go out there and have fun.
Thanks, Brandon.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, everyone. Reminder, we will be back here next Monday as the Blue Raiders prepare for their final midweek game at Jacksonville State on Wednesday, October 23. Thank you.